Alright, guys, happy Monday morning, or whatever day you're watching this. So, your assignment this week is iterative drawing, and what that basically is you're taking a photo, taking an object, you're going to draw it from the same point of view, so one picture of that object, and you're going to draw it 15 to 20 times. So, here's my drawing of this fish. 16 of them. I found that 4 per page let me get a good size. So you're gonna draw the boxes first, and then fit your drawing inside of those boxes. And you're gonna do two different objects or photos. So the first one I did a fish. Second one I did Steven Silver, an artist teacher of mine, and same thing. So this one I drew 20 boxes on the page, and then I drew his face 20 times. And each time, draw it a little different. And as you go, you're gonna realize, well, I drew it like this the first time, but that wasn't right. Let me try this. And you should kind of experiment, base it off of what you're looking at, but try some different things. You know, what if I make the nose bigger? What if I make the nose smaller? What if I put the eyes higher or lower, or make the hat more narrow or taller? What if I stick his jaw coming out forward, or what if I push his jaw way back compared to his nose on this one? You know, each time you're trying something different. You're observing, you're looking at it, and you're saying, well, does this look more like it? Or look at your drawings and kind of compare them. Don't spend a lot of time on each drawing. These are only 2 minutes, about 2 minutes per drawing. So it's going to get you faster, which is good. If you've never drawn that fast, then this will be good for you. A lot of you do draw that fast, but you don't draw something this many times. So it's really going to help you to pay attention to what you're drawing and get some mileage. You get better at drawing by drawing a lot, and you need mileage. Miles on your pencil. So let me just do a quick demo here. You can do this on paper. I showed you one example I did digitally and one I did on paper. So paper is not a problem. You do want to think, is the object you're drawing better vertically or horizontally, and make your boxes fit that way, or you can just flip your paper after you draw them. I decided to draw a truck for this example. And if anybody wants to join me today, it's Monday. My live stream will be from 2 to 4, the live class, virtual class. And you're welcome to join if you can't and you want to watch the video later. I'll post that for you. The link to the live stream should be in the announcements in the class. Alright, so just drawing boxes gives you mileage. So I've got 16 boxes here. If it was paper, I would just draw those lightly. On the iPad, I'm going to turn down the opacity so those boxes aren't, they're just a guide. I don't really want them part of the drawing at the end. Let me pull up. I took some photos. I took a subject that I don't draw a lot just so that I can kind of, most of you don't draw as much as I do, so you might say, well, yeah, this is easy for you because you draw all the time. Well, I'm going to pick an object that I don't draw all the time, which is a truck. I just looked up, I was born in 1983, so I looked up a 1983 truck. This is a Ford F100 XLT 1983 two-door utility truck. Okay, so if this is on my paper, or if most of you are drawing on paper, so I'll leave this small, so you can't zoom in on your paper when it's traditional paper, so I'll just leave it small so I can't zoom in. So I've never drawn this truck before. I'm just looking at it, observing, and the first time I'm going to get it wrong. Or some things I'm going to get right, and some things I'm going to get wrong. Let me set a timer so you guys can see that I'm doing that. So here's 2 minutes. Start the timer. But I am looking at it. I'm observing. And the more I draw it, the more things I'm going to observe. There's a lot. Oh, I said I wasn't going to zoom in. There's a lot to take in when you're drawing something new. So you have to break it into pieces almost. So I'm looking for the big ideas here. There's this top cover on the truck. The door comes down. I can draw the rims on the inside of the tires. I'm not getting really detailed with this. It's short. I'm not even going to spend 2 minutes on that one because I'm done. So I'm going to move on. Now this time I'm going to make some changes. So what if I don't make the bed of that truck as long? What if I keep that back part shorter? What if I make this part a little taller and more narrow? And this part, let's go a little longer on the front. Where does that part stick out there? How far does this wheel? I'm noticing there's an angle, a sideways angle that I drew a little more straight before. So I'm drawing the same thing, but I'm intentionally changing it a little bit, and I'm looking at things and saying, okay, what will make this look more like this truck? Or what are some observations I can make that I didn't make the first time? So this one's a little more caricatured, a little more stylized, but that's great. Start that again, and I'll draw a new one. This is a little smaller than a piece of paper, so I'm going to zoom it in so it's just normal paper sized. Okay, so this time, let's make the back of that truck even longer, and I'll make this part really short and skinny, narrow. And we got room to make this stick out a little bit. The wheel on the back is towards the back. Remember, there's this angle here. The front of that truck is a little higher, which I didn't notice before. I was making it down even with this part and this front part even, but it's actually higher, which is a new observation I made. That's the whole point, to be observant and to get some drawing practice. And you might think, man, I can't draw something 20 times. That's just going to drive me crazy. Well, it will, but that's the assignment, and by the end of it, you're going to notice things that you weren't noticing at the beginning. So that's up higher. How far back? I'm going to play around with making things bigger and smaller, making the wheels. And that's great. It's putting in the practice. So it's going to take you, if you're doing 15 of these, it's going to take you 30 minutes to do them in 2 minutes. 2 minutes is probably good. If you're spending a lot less than 2 minutes, there's probably things that you could be adding that you're not, or paying attention to that you're not. So I would try and keep it around 2 minutes. So I just noticed this thing's really skinny. It feels really skinny in the middle part of the truck, so I'm going to make that skinnier than I've been making it. And I'll make the wheels bigger this time. I've been making them kind of small. Definitely closer to the front than the back. This part comes up. Let's make this thing emphasized. There's an angle here, comes back. So now this window is definitely exaggerated or distorted. It's a distortion, not an exaggeration. But I'm just playing around with it to figure out how skinny is it, the body compared to the top or compared to the wheels. And then I look at it with the other ones, and I look at my reference and say, okay, there's some variety in here. Which ones are looking kind of close? Right now, this one is. So this time, I've been making that top part pretty tall, so I'm going to make it 2 minutes to start this one. So this time I'm going to make that top part short. And let's push it the other way, so all this other stuff I'm going to make a lot bigger. This comes down. And I'm not worried about making it perfect, but I do want to be thinking about it. So what I don't want you to do is turn your brain off. Drawing is analytical. It's using your brain. It's using your creativity and your analytical side. So this exercise should help you not turn off your brain while you're drawing. That looks pretty crazy and wrong, but I'm pushing things so I can, in the end, get something that's more accurate. Because if I know that's wrong, then I can stop and analyze why. So let's make spend 2 minutes on this guy. Put the door in here. Maybe I can put a shadow underneath. What's going on with the lights back here? I can see a little of the top of the truck, so I could put that in. Start a new one. Alright, on this one, you can get closer to your paper. And really, a piece of paper is like this big, so I'm drawing these a little small, but that's okay. I haven't made the front part of the truck, this part, very big compared to the back yet. So I'm just going to push that to find out when I tend to not be leaving enough space between the front tire and the front window. So I'm going to push that whole thing a little bigger so I have a little more room to get that. Because this ends before this comes down. And you're getting practice drawing all these basic shapes that you build everything it's just like your alphabet. You have to practice doing it over and over again. Same with drawing, to build up that muscle memory. You have to do rows and rows of your alphabet, so it makes sense that you'd have to do rows and rows of drawing. You forget all that work you put into learning the alphabet when you're a kid. I've got little kids right now, and so I see them doing lines of their letters, and the more they do, the better they get. Our handwriting's unique, though, so even though we all practice doing letters a lot, we develop our own style, and that's also the same with drawing, which is cool. You don't have to worry about it naturally. The more you learn, the more you practice, the more good art you look at, the more experience you get in life, the more unique and interesting your drawings will become. So, okay, let's do a timer again. I actually have a shorter box on this one, so I'm going to compress everything, and I'm going to put even more emphasis on this front cab area. Make that higher. There's a little three-dimensionality because the camera's above the front hood of the truck here, so I can show that top plane. It's below the top of the truck, or else I'd see a top part like that, but I don't. I just see that, so it means your camera is between those two spots. Whoever took the picture is about right here. There's a bumper there. I'm going to make these wheels oval because I'm squishing everything in this little box. Squash and stretch. Just like an animation. And I have a little more caricature in my work, more exaggeration. But this is, if you like drawing realistic, or you want to draw realistic or accurate, it's the same thing. Do all these incorrect versions to figure out what does that thing actually look like. I'm understanding it better the more I'm looking at it and drawing something and saying, oh, that's definitely wrong. Okay, start 2 more minutes. I don't want to go through this whole thing because you get the point, and I'm gonna do this for my live class today. And the video link that I gave you is gonna go over a lot of this as well. Let's do one more here. So let me just look at all these. Kind of like, this is shorter than I've been making it. I kind of like this guy up here still, as far as being accurate. You have to be willing to make mistakes on this, guys. You have to be willing to not draw it perfect. If you're not willing to make mistakes, your drawing is going to suffer. And in the end, you're going to be less accurate. It's the story that I put in there about making clay vases. There was a class that tried to make one perfect vase all week, and then a class that made 20 vases. Just go for it, make 20 vases, and every single 20 vase was better than the one vase, because it just takes practice and learning from your mistakes. You learn from mistakes. Now, see, there's some interesting character I caught in this one. Some of the other ones, as far as this front part goes. Looking, it needs to be lifted a little higher off the ground, so that's part of why this one's off. But look, if I lift it higher, it's starting to get a little more there. And again, I don't draw trucks very much, so this drawing is fairly generic. This drawing down here is getting much more interesting and specific, because I'm observing better here than I was on this one, because I'm studying this thing. One of the best ways to observe is to put down what you're looking at on paper. It's like if you understand something well, you can explain it simply. If I really understand what this looks like, with some practice, I can draw it, and it's gonna look. I know I'm spending a little more time on this, but this is my last one, and I just noticed the back comes up a little bit, and that I was missing. So, I hope you can see that this has a lot more character, and in a lot of ways is a lot more accurate than all these ones before it. But all these ones before it helped me get to that. And then I could take this, you could do it on a new piece of paper or whatever, and redraw it. Instead of redrawing it, I'm just going to blow it up. So you could do a bigger drawing based off of your little drawing or your quick drawing. And then I've got like the skeleton of this thing, and now I can go in and say, okay, what does this thing look like? This is not part of the assignment for the week, but it's definitely something you could do after you do the assignment. Go in and try and make this thing into, take your best drawing or all your observation from your little quick drawings, and then try and do a nice finished drawing with what you've learned. And again, I purposely picked an object that I'm not familiar with, that I don't draw very much, to show you that it's the same. I'm going through the same process. I do have more mileage with my pencil, so making my marks, being confident in that, and my observation. I've done a lot of observing with pencil on paper. So you can see the back of the truck here, which means whoever's holding the camera is standing behind this part and above this part. So the perspective just becomes kind of logic. Once you understand perspective, you say, oh, okay, that makes sense that I see that part because this person must be standing here taking the picture. And this is a truck that came out the year I was born. So just researching a little into my past and my history, what was happening when I was born. And you can see I'm caricaturing these wheels a little bit. They're more oval, or distorting actually. Tires aren't oval, they're round, so I'm distorting them. But I'm distorting them to fit into this exaggerated drawing of the truck. I just want to emphasize this is not part of the assignment. Slowing down and drawing a cleaned up drawing. I'm just doing this for fun because I thought, well, that drawing was kind of cool. Yeah, I should do my 15 or all 15 or 20 drawings first because there's probably still some better observations I need to make. I'm just showing you how you can build off of these quick drawings. And the back bed of this truck, it looks like I made it to not long enough. This whole thing looks longer than I made it. It's a little more angular than I made it. A little harder edges on stuff. But just showing you, you can take this. For some reason, I always want to paint trucks. I don't know that much about trucks, but I've wanted to do paintings of trucks for a while. I've painted a truck before, but might be fun to do some truck paintings. I don't know why. Maybe it's the bright colors of the paint. I don't know. Okay, so again, this isn't your assignment, but you can definitely do this. I encourage doing this as for fun or for improving after you've done your assignment of the 15 to 20 quick ones of the object. This is your assignment this week, but fill up all of those boxes and do 2 different objects. Could be a plant, could be a vehicle, could be a person, but the same photo for all of your iterations or variations of the drawing. Alright, again, you can join my live class today, 2 to 4 p.m., or you can watch the recording later if you need more help or guidance. And this is going to drive you crazy, but I think you'll like it. If you can get through the first 10 or 15 or so, you'll definitely improve your observation and your drawing by the end. So go for it, and look forward to seeing what you do.